dominating the game in scoring, but they were impact lines physically on the forecheck. They made life difficult for the Senators. You got the core four. They were on the board. Oh, Anthony Stolarz lets in one there early in the first period. Sorry, it wasn't the prettiest, but he bounces back right away. It's like everything you could have asked for: goaltending, special teams, the big guys, the depth. It was there tonight.
Yeah, in essence, it felt a lot like those series back in the day, Boston and Toronto, but it was like the Leafs were the Bruins. Like,
yeah,
you know, how much did we talk about discipline coming into this series, into Game 1 specifically, and it came unraveled for the Ottawa Senators. Like, I know their fan base is going and bitching and complaining. Well, I got news for you. For the third consecutive year, the Ottawa Senators led the NHL in power play opportunities, and quite frankly, this is not me being a Leafs homer or anything. I watched this game, and they were doing some dumb shit. Like, we talked about that to start this night off. Discipline was going to be a huge factor, and Ottawa played like a team that was green that hadn't been there before.
Look, I see these guys, these wankers online. They're they're complaining, they're getting upset about stuff. It's like, oh wow, how are we calling this the ref show tonight? You know what? At the end of the day, you can't cross-check guys in the head.
True.
You can't hit guys 5 feet away from the boards in the numbers. Like, some of these things you just can't do. Sure, was there ticky-tack stuff here and there that maybe you could argue? I could understand that. I could understand maybe some stuff that didn't get called on Toronto. That's all fine and fair game. But the stuff that we're seeing online, I mean, like, let's just call it what it is. This stuff is fucking pathetic. You're in the playoffs here. Let's grow up and just play better. The Maple Leafs here tonight played better than you did. They played better. They had better, or they created better opportunities. They capitalized on their opportunities. They get these power plays because you're doing stupid shit, because this team who, whether, I don't know, maybe it's just the fans who don't know what the fuck to do. They're running around like chickens with their heads cut off because it's playoff time. They haven't experienced this. Or if it's the guys on the ice who haven't seen some of that stuff. But you saw emotion building in them where they started doing dumb stuff, and you saw the Leafs not doing that. And it was a very different feeling even when I say that. Like, hey, traditionally, you know, think back to the Montreal series. Matthews getting ragdolled and he's laughing, and it's like, fuck, I don't like that. The Florida series, Marner getting face washed and he's laughing. I don't like that. But you don't have to go and just sucker punch guys in the head. You don't have to go cross-check guys in the head. The Maple Leafs stayed calm, composed here tonight. Yeah. They were in Ottawa's face just enough here. They played.
They controlled the game.
Yeah, dare I say it, they played a perfect playoff game here tonight.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of conviction and purpose. Preparation's another word I would use. Right off the get-go.
Yeah.
I thought a big point in the game was the start for the fourth line. The Lawton line was outstanding. And then a guy you brought in last offseason wins the Stanley Cup, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, friend of the show, ends up scoring the opening goal of the Battle of Ontario here. Like, it was a picture-perfect start from that aspect, but the biggest thing I noticed, they were prepared and ready to go and give it to the Ottawa Senators in this one. Yeah,
you were ready to go from the opening puck drop. And, you know, one thing that I saw here tonight, especially off that start, was how are they going to handle the physicality? I think that was one thing we had talked about a lot going into this series, specifically Ridley, Gregg, Cousins, if he played, which he obviously doesn't here tonight, Highmore, Brady, Tkachuk. How are they going to put that on you, and what are you going to do back? And I was interested to see what it was that the Leafs were going to do.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen in series against Boston, Tampa, a little bit against Florida, where they jumped into those games, and you could tell they were chasing physically, right? Like, it was like opportunities, hits that weren't there. They were running after them to try to get it. They would get out of the play.
This is hilarious. You won't believe what just happened.
I tried to power through that
Some
so
girl
hard.
walked by and thought Vic was the DJ here at Greta Bar. And Vic is not the DJ here at Greta Bar.
I tried to power through that.
Anyways, continue on.
But all I was going to say is just that physicality from the open. We've seen them chase it and get out. You know, specifically one of the plays that's been highlighted over the last little while is Ryan Reeves chasing the hit, bumps into the another Leafs defender. I think it was McCabe last year. Takes two guys, hits one. Boston goes the other way and scores. The Leafs just finished every check.
Yeah.
And it wasn't running around to get that hit. It wasn't running around to get in on the forecheck. It was hit was there, you take the hit. Take the man to make the play. Just take the man to separate him from the puck.
Yeah.
Take the man to punish him a little bit. They did that right off the jump, and it set the tone for tonight.
I call that purpose. If you were to make a Maple Leafs checklist entering the Stanley Cup playoffs of Game 1, how you'd want it to go, we talked about the power play, 3 for 6. We talked about the depth scoring. Ekman Larson scores. Riley scores. The bottom six was outstanding, I felt. We talk about the big boys. The big four combined for 9 points in the game. The only guy not to score was Austin Matthews, but he was all around it. Like, Stolars, they got the saves. I know producer Vic's not going to like any goal that goes past the goalie. I thought Stolars is really effective. First half of the first period, I thought he was good. Second period, he made some key stops. And that is like those are the ingredients you need to win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And all I could think about was the Maple Leafs checklist, and they hit everything tonight. Yeah,
I mean, you brought up Stolars there too, which is one of the big things I want to talk about, especially in this game. And, you know, the shots are going to be something that Astoria is kind of brought upon, especially probably from these uneducated Sens fans after a game like this here tonight, where they're going to say, hey, wow, we generated so many shots. We did this. We got a lot on net. And after the first period, I mean, to an extent there, it was looking up going, oh, my God. Like, you look at the shot chart, you look at the shots on goal, and it's like, wow, 12-4, 13-4, and you're like, okay, fair enough. But Vic and I were saying to each other, there was a point where it was like, well, the Leafs were generating chances. They just weren't on net. I mean, we limited the Senators here tonight to not having that many opportunities. And you were the one who said it to me, but it was like, you talked about how the Leafs looked like, let's say Boston in the series that the Leafs have played against Boston in the first rounds.
Yeah.
Just before you get to Stolars here. But you talked about that. The one thing on all of that was the Leafs didn't give the Senators great high danger chances, which to go along with these theories of old Leafs versus the new Leafs, and the difference that you're seeing was, Ottawa got a lot of shots on goal, but that's what the Leafs used to do against Boston, Tampa, Florida, and they just didn't get anything inside. I look at the shot chart after, and it's like there's 4-5 shots in the middle of the ice. Where's the rest? Out past the tops of the circles, out towards the wall, at the blue line. Like, it wasn't anything really that dangerous here tonight. The Leafs kind of controlled that and limited opportunities to the middle of the ice.
I call those empty calorie shots, empty calorie points sometimes. And, I mean, we can trend that conversation, obviously, into Stolars, but like the big boys, I thought Mitch Marner had a really, really good game. Purpose points, I call them, in games that matter. Difference-making plays, plays that affect the outcome of a hockey game. And to me, like, that's a really good thing to see the core four in general. But their DNA is all over this victory, and sort of complementing sprinkles of like depth and other guys on the roster is massive for me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, the one thing I want to get to here is Super Chat, and I'm not going to keep you for too long, so we'll let you get in and get out because you got a morning show to do tomorrow. Eddie Belfour tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, correct.
There you go. So, big one. And we've got a guest who's waiting here in the wings as well. He'll come in. I'm sure producer Vic will jump in at some point. This guy's going to horny to talk about this game
horny,
tonight.
Producer Vic. Look at him.
But we got a Super Chat, and I want to get your opinion on it before we go anywhere. And if you want to get your Super Chats into the show here tonight, you want your question, your comment read, we have a Super Chat charity partner this year on the show. It is Sick Kids Charity. I will read any and all of the Super Chats that come in here. Anything that comes through, we're talking about, we're answering, we'll bring them up here on the show. We'll do a lot of them. Our main KPG is one of the main contributors here on the Super Chats. Let's get to the first one that we've got here. This comes in from Nate92. Stolars not wavering after giving away a freebie and the fourth line dominating in the first period were great signs. Let's start with the first part. This is what I wanted to talk about here. And one of the things I was looking to see how this was handled, first start in the playoffs since the London Knights was Anthony Stolars. Vic was on the Joseph Wall train all the way going in.
He was.
That first goal goes in. I look over at this guy. He's got panic in his eyes. He's telling me, this might be it. Yeah. We got to get this guy out of here. But he stayed calm after that. You can argue all you want about the rebounds given up to allow the second goal to be the case, but made some huge stops. Opened that second period. Breakaway saves. The Pinto save. Like, this guy was dialed in outside of that, even before that. What'd you make of Anthony Stolars' game here tonight and ability to respond after basically, as Nate92 pointed out, a freebie there?
Yeah, and effectively, by the way, producer Vic is our dark guy, okay? So he lives and dies with every opportunity, every shift, any hack starts, so it's perfect. I mean, it goes hand in hand. But on Stoley's play, I just think he was very calm, cool, and collected. A lot of what we saw in the regular season from this guy, it's hard to fathom how at 31 he finally finds his game. Like even last year, the underlying numbers really, really good in Florida, but he's complement that and just brought it this season with the Maple Leafs. But I think it almost was the way we were feeling, at least myself, all day Whereas I had a humble confidence to this game. We talked about it. I called the Leafs in 60. The Leafs puck lines of play I was involved in too.
Yeah, Leafs in back there.
Yeah, there was just like a confidence to their game. And to that point, I think there's a confidence because they know there's a guy behind them in Anthony Stolarz who not much affects the guy. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He's very even keel, but he's got like the appeal, the DNA to be a goalie in Toronto.
Yeah.
Not much bothers him. So I thought he was steady Eddie. You talk about Eddie Belfour coming on tomorrow, but I think he needed to make some saves and some we talk about the timeliness of saves. I think that came multiple times in this game, including the first 10 minutes of the first period. There's a flurry there in the second period, and that's what you need. No soft goals. I know producer Vic didn't like the first goal, but hey, if my goalie's turning 2 goals in a playoff game, more times than not, you should win the game, Zach.
100%. And, it was kind of funny. You talk about like how he's handled here in Toronto. I watched that last Leaf blueprint, and they were interviewing Steven Lorentz in it, and he's like, yeah, in the summer, Stoley was going to come here. I warned him, like, it's tough to be a goalie in Toronto. I don't think the goalies we've had here in Wall and Stolarz have handled it better than you possibly could.
Yeah.
Like, could have handled it any better than they have, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
they came in prepared. They keep that even-keeled mindset. Nothing is too high. Nothing's too low. I think also the way the team responds in front of them is a big sign
That's
of
huge.
that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I would have seen 2-0, that goal goes in. 3-0, that goal goes in. If it's Samsonov, Murray, Freddie Anderson, there's a tinge of panic, whether it's in the building, which is also another thing that you don't see there again tonight, or the team in front of them. It just doesn't happen because Stolarz, like, that goal goes in, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, let's play hockey. Let's keep it going. Like, it just, you can tell it doesn't bother him. It doesn't change the way he's going to play and react after. He's not chasing the game to make the next save. He's ready for it. He just stays calm. One goal happened. It's not going to change the way I approach the rest of this.
To me, it's the bigger picture's Craig Berube. I know we're one game into this thing, but like throughout the season, and you guys have worked with me, I've been pretty steadfast in saying that I like this style. I like this brand.
Yeah.
I think even the way they played this game tonight, there weren't many odd man rushes. It was maybe a bit more open than I anticipated. But the Maple Leafs, like, you have to give them credit because Ottawa really sagged back on the blue line. The Maple Leafs took advantage, obviously, of the special teams too. But more so like the brand. Like, I was laughing a couple times. Like, the old flip-out play they keep doing?
Yeah.
You would never see that in the previous administration's era under Sheldon Keefe, where it's
cross-ice pass.
Yeah, like,
cut across.
They play more of a linear game, get the puck deep, get on the forecheck. And I think that translates to more success. Obviously easy to say that after one game here in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but we did get an 82-game trial run, and I think many people watching this team throughout the season, when they were playing their best hockey, they were playing Craig Berube hockey, and I just think the Maple Leafs have really found their identity at the perfect time of the year.
Yeah, and, on that Craig Berube point, we saw, and you were talking about the people online earlier who saying Berube's not the right guy, he's done a poor job at this.
Yeah.
And then, I saw a follow-up by some of those people saying, like, oh, wow, this set of games was good, and this set wasn't so great, and then this set was good. The thing was, in all of that, you could visibly see the way that they adapted. At the beginning of the season, it was way too much like, we're not allowing anything, we're not doing anything. Like, it was just boring, slow. Like, we opened the game getting shut out in a 1-0 loss.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it was like, that was
overcompensating.
It was way too far to one side of the spectrum. And then that middle period was just ups and downs of, like, trying to figure out one game doing that, trying to figure out the next game, the scoring game, and then all of a sudden you'd see a stretch where they balance both.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what you saw at the end there, which, for lack of a better term, is playoff hockey. Like, that's what we saw here tonight against the Sens, where it was like you mastered, give them nothing in terms of danger chances.
Yeah.
I mean, they outshot you, but
they played good
they played good defense here tonight. Anything that was in their zone that was even the slightest bit, oh, fuck, we got somebody on us, we might turn this thing over, we might have pressure, put it out there. Put it out there, go get it. Let's not worry about this thing in our blue line. I'd rather it be out there, and we'll go figure it out there. Easy, pucks out of the zone. You got in hard on the forecheck. That was another thing here tonight. Last thing I want to talk to you about before you go. That fourth line, third line as well, setting the tone. It's not just, hey, yeah, we'll go hard on the forecheck. It's like impactful forechecks.
Yeah.
How often did the puck go into the corner, The defenseman got hit. He had zero time to make a play. The next defenseman got hit because it went from D to D, and there was it's Bobby McMahon into that corner. That guy moves it across. It's Nick Robertson in on that corner. That guy's trying to make a play up the wall, and Pontus Holmberg is there to shut it down. Then the defense are rotating over, and all of a sudden Ottawa's looking up going,
dude.
oh,
Coaching,
shit, we have nowhere to go.
Yeah,
it was just impactful forechecking. You'd get them hemmed into their zone.
Yeah.
Right. And then who comes out? First line, second line. They get opportunities. They get chances.
Well, yeah,
it was just
it was waves.
Great game.
It was waves. And again, it gets back to coaching, preparation. We've seen it before where the Leafs come out hot in game one of a series, but I just think from a dominant standpoint, it was the right exact way. I think they answered the bell, considering all the heat going into this series. I do believe in like finishing strong and getting hot at the right time. And I think you look at what this team's put together, not just tonight, but the last, month or so? Yeah. They've been building momentum towards this moment, and I think they nipped anything in the bud really, really early on that Ottawa, you're not winning this hockey game tonight.
All right, I'll get you out of here on that. I appreciate you doing this here on the post game. For game one of the playoffs here at Greta Bar. And I mean, before you go, just quick thoughts here. You know, we did this here at Greta. It's playoff time. We're going big here on Leafs Nation. The Leafs Nation team is teaming up with Greta Bar to bring you the ultimate playoff watch parties, and you're invited. Every single home game, come cheer on the blue and white with the TLN crew at Greta, our go-to spot for all things game night. We're talking massive screens, which we got here tonight. Sound pumping through Greta Bar here as well, Nick. I grabbed the nachos. I think I saw you with a healthy option, but I was on the nachos.
Cajun Creole bowl. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, all the food here is good. But we're going live with the Leaf Station pregame and after dark here, giveaways, tossed away some T-shirts, trivia, and all that and more. You want in, text Greta at 647-424-2553 to lock down your table. Nick, last thing. How was the experience here at Greta for you tonight?
Phenomenal host. Tremendous time. It's always a great atmosphere when the Maple Leafs win, but since the beginning, the folks over at Greta have been phenomenal in welcoming the Leafs Nation. It was great to connect with some of our listeners and viewers as well. One's coming on very, very shortly is my understanding, but great experience, man. It just feels that much better when the Maple Leafs win, too.
I apparently fucked up. My producer, Vic, here is telling me I was supposed to do the read so you could leave and we could do a smooth transition.
Oh, good. let's do a shitty transition.
Yeah,
okay?
let's do that. Nick, thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
I appreciate
See ya
it.
tomorrow.
Thanks. All right. Thank you to our friends at Greta. It's been amazing here tonight. Thank you to Nick for jumping by the show. Vic, you were right. I should have done that. I didn't do that. But anyways, it is what it is. As we continue here on the post-game show tonight, I want to remind people, your super chats that you guys send in, I will read them, talk about them, answer the questions, whatever it is that you've got here. Let's go back to the super chats that we've got in the chat here right now, Vic. Let's start with the first one from Mitch Marner's Vulva. I have no idea if Vic's playing animations or not either, so I have no idea. But anyways, super chat here from Mitch Marner's Vulva. We're going to get to a special guest here in a moment as I answer this one, but on paper, another W where they appeared to have been outplayed. But anywho, watch the game, as I'm told to move over, which makes a lot more sense, where they appear to have been outplayed, but anywho, watch the game no different. Those who watch the game no different. Those 3 power play goals will change the Sens' approach, and if it doesn't, we will enjoy another big win. Look, that's part of it here too, right? Like, I saw a lot of Sens fans online complaining about these power plays and power play opportunities, which, first of all, I think were just fucking unbelievable that these guys are crying the way that they are after this one. You know, you get these stupid penalties that the Sens are taking. It's like they couldn't find a way to keep their composure in this one. They got out of it early. The Leafs jumped on them. The fans were involved in this one, which credit the people in Scotiabank Arena because they were excited. They had good atmosphere tonight. Like, everybody was ready to go right from the beginning. I looked at the way that they played 5-on-5 as well. Like, this wasn't just a power play game. This wasn't just, power play merchants not able to do anything outside of these opportunities where you're getting out here 5-on-4s, all of a sudden 5-on-3s and stuff that are happening. these guys were able to take control of this game at 5-on-5. And if you're able to go out there, even strength, and just control the way the game is played, control the pace of the game, control the opportunities, you're going to have success. And then this is part of the problem we've had in years past is, okay, these chances come up. You get these power plays. It's a tight game at 5-on-5. Maybe you're controlling the play, whatever it may be. What do you do when you get the power play opportunities? In years past, they faltered. You know, they've given up shorthanded chances. They've given up shorthanded breakaways, which it's not like they didn't necessarily do some of that here tonight. There were a couple, but they responded. They reacted. Stolarz was good back there. And you took these power play opportunities and you took advantage of them, which I think the Leafs deserve a lot of credit for in a game like this here tonight. Let's now get to our next guest. It's going to be our first ever time doing the Ninja Crispy hotline in person. We're going to do a hotline in person. So as I do this read and do this video, we'll get them ready as I'm waiting for making sure that we can get everything up on screen in time. We'll get there. We'll have it ready. But, you know, we're going to get to do the hotline in person, and it's somebody that I'm sure people in the chat are really interested in seeing here as well. As I just wait for this. But anyways, as we do, again, to people who are watching this, you figured it out? Okay, you got it. Hey, we're figuring it out as we go. Did the video play? Okay, the slate's up. Time now for the Ninja Crispy Hotline, presented by... That's all right. Don't worry about it. Presented by the Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 portable glass air fryer. It is an all-in-one system that includes 4-quart, 6-cup Tupperware glass containers and 2 storage lids. The Ninja Crispy is thermal shock resistant and can go from frozen to crispy in minutes. With the Crispy Power Pod, you get the power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hands. The 4-quart container fits 4 pounds. 4 pounds of chicken or veggies. Cook a personal-sized meal in 7 minutes in the 6-cup container. Max crisp, bake, air fry, and re-crisp with the Ninja Crispy. You can prep, cook, and store anything from crispy favorites to one-dish meals. Visit their website in the link in the description, and stay tuned for a chance to win a free Ninja Crispy for one of our lucky fans. Let's welcome into the show on the Ninja Crispy Hotline the man, the myth, the legend. You know him from the chat. You know him from the call-ins. He went to Buffalo with Max Sentius. KPG, how's it going, brother?
Zach, brother, what a game. What a game. 6-2 blowout by the Leafs. This was like the best playoff game in the Matthews era since the Leafs beat Tampa in 2022 5-0, where Morgan Riley mashed up Jan Ruda's face. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do. Dude, I mean, this was an exciting game all the way around, right? Like, you say it's the best game since that Tampa game, and in some ways I'd argue it's almost better. You know, it's a Battle of Ontario. It's the division rival. It's the one thing we've been waiting for a long time.
Totally.
I mean, you also in this game not only come out and thump the Senators, which there was a lot of shit talking from both sides leading into this one, but you come out ready to go. You play the playoff style. You didn't just win 5-0, 6-2, whatever, and just outscored them out of the building. You played playoff hockey here, and you took it to the Ottawa Senators.
Exactly, and the Leafs played their game tonight, and the Leafs have been playing their game for the past 10 games straight. You know what's funny is I give the credit to Tree Living. The blue line was solid. Stolarz was a difference maker because, let's face it, Linus kind of sucked tonight, right?
Yeah,
like 8.25. Yeah, exactly. 8.25 million. Not really worth it. When how much are we paying both our guys together? A and B, less
like
than $5 million. Yeah, $3 million. Nothing. So that's on Tree Living, and then it was also. When Ottawa went dirty, the Leafs had a response.
Yeah.
And that's huge difference because, like in prior seasons, 2023, I hated that the Leafs lost to the Panthers, but the thing that I hated way worse than losing was our star rookie getting beaten up and not a peep from any single Leaf. And this time it was different, and that's Berube. Like we said last time in the chat, if Berube can be fighting the toughest guy, Probert, the team is going to follow him, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the one thing that's going to be interesting to see the fallout online. Like, the game ends. As soon as it ends, I basically am putting my phone away, jumping down here and sitting down. So I'm going to see it, other than the Leafs fans that I'm looking at in the chat. Other than that, I'm going to see it all later. But, you know, just with us here as we talk about this and kind of our instant reaction, the one thing, I kind of briefly brought it up to Nick, but the one thing I thought was interesting was the response, right?
Totally.
It was, I kept saying, and one of my big things about how you needed to handle this was, don't go gung-ho with the Senators who could do that.
Discipline.
Because if they go nuts and you go nuts, the refs are not going to give you those opportunities. They're not going to put Ottawa to the box. You're not going to get power play opportunities. And it's like there's gamesmanship to this. There's thinking about this and managing the refs and managing the game and all these things. The Leafs seem to do that so well here tonight, and it wasn't by, I mean, I'll just say, like, it wasn't by being pussies in this one and being afraid of it. You know, how many times did you see Zetterland or Cousins or, you know, Batherson go to the front and throw a cross-check, and the Leafs player turns around, looks them right in the eyes, and just stares back at them? They'll grab them, they're ready to go, but they're not jumping into that mix. They're not going over the line. They're not going to get themselves ready to go to the box, but then the ref's looking and going, hey, that guy's doing stupid shit, you're not. The next time he does, maybe they're ready to call that. Like, there was a great job managing everything here tonight.
Yeah, that was good strategy. And, you know, last night, the games in the NHL, there was like 5 or 6 penalties called for every game. And so we knew the whistles were going to come out in this series.
Yeah.
And the whistles did come out, but it went in the favor of the Leafs. And it wasn't just strategy. I think it's also maturity. Yeah. When you go to the playoffs so many times, you go 7 games at least, you're now getting the experience, and Ottawa just doesn't have that experience.
Yeah, and you know, some of it showed there too. You could see them getting frustrated. You could see them getting pissed off with things. It's not going their way. You're watching behind the bench, and I mean, Travis Green is this guy played, he gets it. He's been around the league, coaching for a long time here as well. But you could see the frustration building on him. You could see it on the guys on the Sens' faces where they weren't handling it. You watch, like, Matthews, the one, like, you know, a couple of different things there. Matthews gets hit by Gaudette, right? That play takes place. He gets up, and he's there chirping Gaudette.
Exactly.
Like, he's giving it to him. That's different. In the past, Matthews probably puts his head down, skates away, and, you know, all that's going to do is piss him off. It's going to piss Gaudette off. He's mad. You could see him going at the ref. You could see him getting fired up about it. He's angry going forward. And it's like, that's what you need. It's your big boys getting ready to do that. The scrum we see behind the net, JT jumps in there, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Willie's coming over the top and throwing punches in at guys. Like, they're ready to go. At least a couple of times,
Willie was throwing punches.
Yeah, like, you're watching these guys have that maturity or like that growth, I guess, is maybe a way to put it here as well, because throwing bombs into the scrum maybe doesn't necessarily scream maturity, but, you know, you're seeing them jump in like that and be physical. Like, they were ready for this moment tonight, and they deserve all the credit. You know, how they do games 2, 3, 4, the rest of the way, nobody fucking knows. Yeah. But how they did here tonight, it checked a lot of boxes for me.
Dude, they sent a signal tonight. I agree with everything that you're saying, and I think the really amazing thing is the offense came not only from the forwards, but the fourth line was spectacular tonight, and we got offense from the blue line. Like, that's not just tonight. That's been a trend. The defense has been scoring. So that's like a huge burden on Ottawa, because now it's not just covering line 1 and 2, but you've got other offensive threats that you're going to have to cover. That's a statement game, I think. Yeah. It's not just like in the past where, let's say, we win game 1 and then it's just going to go back and forth. I think this was a statement game. And last time I was on, you asked me for a hot, super crispy, Ninja crispy hot take. And I said Leafs in 5, but I was like ready to pull it back because I thought almost impossible. And even producer Vic, the man who's missing a beard right now, also took a hot take. You said Leafs in 5 or in 4? 4. Okay. He was the sweep. I was the gentleman's sweep. But after tonight, this was not a fluke game. This was not a fluke game because the Leafs played their game.
Right.
They played their game. I saw tonight the same game I've been watching that we saw in Buffalo, that we saw against the Habs, that we saw against Tampa, 10 games ago. Leafs played their game, and so honestly, I'm thinking like 5-game gentleman's sweep is like really possible now. I don't want to get too confident or anything like that.
No, fuck that. Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Fuck
exactly.
the Sens.
Fuck
Leafs
the
in
Sens.
4. Fuck the Sens. There you go.
Leafs in 4, baby. I'm retracting Leafs in 5. Leafs in 4. Oh, yeah!
There you go. Woo! All right, we did beat around the bush here and bury the lead a little bit, so I want to at least address this quickly. But there's a couple things in the chat. So first of all, apparently I'm getting balding accusations. So
that's me.
I'm just gonna take that off.
That's not you. That's me, buddy.
Show here, like come on. That's come on. That's
and by the way, in real life, Zack is like 5'11", okay?
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure. 5'11", 195, maybe a deuce. Where's the salts? Where's the salts,
dude?
buddy?
I don't have them right now.
Okay.
Did you bring yours?
No, I forgot.
Damn
I'll bring
it.
them next time.
Okay,
Next game, I'll bring them.
I'm bringing them next game because I messed up. We were in Vic and I had a nightmare situation getting here and getting ready, so I don't have them, but we will have them.
Cool.
There is a super chat here though. This super chat comes in from Tammy. Vic, I have no idea if the animation's going or not, but this super chat comes in from Tammy. Tammy says, KPG is my spirit animal. I just want to at least go back outside. Let's go outside the game for a second, just because this is cool that we've got to have you here in person. We've got to meet you a couple of times. I wish you came to Nashville, but obviously unable to do so. But, we got to meet you a couple of times. It's been awesome every time. You came out here to Greta every time we've met you, actually. Started out at the Four Nations face-off. We got to meet Maxentius Decimus as well.
Oh, yeah.
You come out here to Greta yet again. What is this experience like, and why'd you decide to come out here? Like, we want everyone to come out here and experience this, but why? What was it for you, and how have you enjoyed it?
Dude, I have been loving the Leafs all my life. That's a long time. I left Toronto and went overseas for a long time, and then I just moved back to the city 2 years ago, and I wanted to be with the dudes and the women who love the Leafs just as much as I do, who watch them religiously all the time, who are up to date on what's going on, and just want to show up. Not just like, look, this type of wave of the potential for the Leafs to make a long run in the playoffs, we all know it's rare.
Yeah.
So you got to surf that wave the best you can. So come on out to the bar. Come on out to Greta for the next game. Even a lot of you guys are 905ers. A lot of you guys are 705ers. Fuck that, okay? Get in the car, get in the truck, 2.5-hour drive. I'm talking to Lisa Gritton. I'm talking to Tammy. I'm talking to Maxentius. I'm talking to Zoran. I'm talking to Extho. I'm talking to Patrick. I'm talking to everybody out there. Get in the car. You may not get a chance to see this again. Get in the car, get to Greta. Let's party together like real Leaf fans, bleeding blue and white. Oh, yeah, baby!
Let's go.
Oh!
Let's go.
Yeah.
Look, we got a fog machine going on here.
I don't even know. That was my fire, man. That was the heat. Bring in the heat.
Look, I think the way you're feeling right now after this one is just how all Leafs fans are feeling. Like, we got fog machines going off in here. It's nuts. But, dude, this guy's just laughing at us. Vic can't even see this guy. He's 5 feet away.
What happens if somebody sends a super chat while they're live on video? Does the universe explode? I'm going to test it out right now.
All right. Let's see. KPG's firing off a super chat. Look, in all honesty here, I mean, that's part of what the post-game show is. So we'll break everything down in some seriousness, but we'll also have some fun on this. Hopefully everyone can at least stop with the balding accusations on me. That's one thing I'm gonna hold strong on.
I'm
Usually
the one
you guys
balding.
can chirp me on anything, everything. That one. There's so much fog in here, Vic. I can't believe they just fired the fog off like that. That was so gutless. Vic is, I can't even begin to explain to people. Vic is 5 feet away. I can't see him. I took a picture. I can't see. He's right there.
That's hilarious.
He just came and told Vic it's for the podcast. Vic can't even breathe. Okay.
It's on fire down here, folks.
Let's
Get down to Greta Bar. Get down to Leafs After Dark.
Let's get back to the chat. I want you to be here for some of these super chats. You're usually the one sending them. As I see the one that just came in here. Super chat comes in from KPG, says, now we go.
Oh, yeah.
Now we go is right. I'm not going to
Look
look at he's got his shirt.
Everybody got, come on, you got to get your own personal Now We Go shirts. Look at that beautiful quality. Look at those graphic design for the playoffs. Let's go. Now we go, baby. Yeah.
Now we go. Now we go. All right, let's get back to the chat here. I want to at least answer some of these super chats as we go through. And then KPG, I'll let you go. And we'll get to Vic here as well, who's going to jump in and give us some thoughts on tonight's
Sweet
game
producer
too.
Vic.
Let's go to some of the serious stuff, and then we've got some fun stuff
Let's
here.
get serious.
Let's get serious. 6 Cents Digital. Ottawa looked like we usually do in the playoffs. Too gassed up, sloppy with the puck, bad penalties. Loved seeing Nylander in the scrums again. I mean, look, let's just take it back to some of the serious talk that we had when you first sat down and some of the stuff I was saying when Nick had left and even when Nick was here. That was one of the things that we saw where it felt flipped a little bit. Now, you have to control this and keep that going through 2, 3, 4 as you go on in this series. Like, you have to be able to build off that and not just have that be a one-off game. Like, how many times did we see against Tampa where it was like one game you came out and you thumped the shit out of them, and then the next it turned around on you, and you're like back and forth like that. But that said, I mean, this happens here tonight. You play this way. What did you make of the way the Leafs showed up here tonight versus what Ottawa did? Do you expect the Senators to have that again on Tuesday night when they play Game 2 back here in Toronto, and we have another Greta Bar pregame and postgame as well?
You know what? I expected more out of Ottawa tonight. Maybe, like, obviously there was the dirty play, but I expected fights.
Yeah.
Brady, Tkachuk. And the other thing is, I think that definitely the Leafs, like in the first period, they were outplayed, and you saw the shots. I think it was like 14-5 by the second period, early in the second period. But they held them to the perimeter. There wasn't really that many great chances, and that was the Leafs game. And I think that like I said, the Leafs played the game that they've been playing, like definitely in the past 20 games.
Yeah, and you know, they came in here building off of what they did in the regular season, which I think was nice. The other thing, too, with this one, I thought at least, was a lot of times or a lot of seasons, we've gone into the playoffs saying, hey, you're going to have to go into Game 1 and play playoff hockey. You're going to have to switch this around. And it's turn on the switch. It's change things overnight, change the mentality, change the style, structure, the way you're playing and approaching the game. I think the one thing that helped them here, and hopefully, I mean, the way we're talking about this thing, I'm just hoping they keep building off of this, because if they do, I don't see how they lose a game in this series. But if the way they came into this game is the way they're going to play, that's what you just built off of for the last 12, 15, 20 games of this season, right? You prepared yourself for it mentally, physically, the strategy, the system, the structure, the identity that you've developed here.
The power
all
play.
of that. The power, like, it was all building off of what you had done at the end of the season, which allows you some of that comfortability to go in and be like, we know what we're doing. Yeah. We're not trying to change overnight and all of a sudden be a different team, play a different way, have a different identity like that. That was one of those things that here tonight against this Sens team was nice to see, even taking them aside just from the Leafs, to be like, it didn't feel like their brand of hockey was that much different other than they were more intense.
You know what we were seeing in seasons past, and it actually gives me PTSD to talk about it? The Keefe blender. Like, I didn't even know what lines we were going into the playoffs with, and now we knew the exact lines. We knew how they play. Yeah, you might switch Domi up here or there, but in prior seasons, we didn't even have lines. Like, I didn't know what they were, and to me, the blender was a sign of desperation because the coach didn't know what to do. But Chief is playing his game. The team is playing their game. Yes, Ottawa tried to throw us off that with a lot of like behind the scene dirty plays, but it didn't work. And Leafs had an answer. And I'll go back to tree living. People have criticized like the Revo signing, but Revo is a weapon and he doesn't need to be deployed. You just need to bring him out and show your holster has Revo. So I'm not saying that Reeves is going to get played over the next like whatever amount of games, but he can be played. That's a card that can be played. And so, Fafo, fuck around, find out. If Ottawa really wants to do something super dirty, I mean, I would say like the only time in tonight's game where I felt a little bit concerned, a little bit nervous is when Grieg like intentionally ran into Stolarz. Like that's our star. Like you take him out, he's already got pebbles in the knees. He's got that problem. And we know what Grieg is like. Like, that was Bieksa, I think, said it on the broadcast after. Like he said that was intentional, and definitely it was. So if they get
intentional, unintentional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they get that deliberate, if they get that dirty, they go even beyond that. We've got an answer beyond that too, because I don't want to see Carlo taking like a game misconduct. I don't want to see like Benoit suspended or something like that. But Reeves can come in and he doesn't even need to fight a guy. I know nobody is in his weight class in Ottawa, but he can. I mean, if things get really bad, he can take him out like he took out Nurse, like a check while the guy's head's down. And then all of a sudden, Reeves gets a 5-game suspension. Everybody's patting him on the back. Thanks, man, for taking one for the team. You just took out Grieg, and that guy's off the ice.
Rosie's in the chat, by the way.
He is?
Yeah,
oh,
he
sweet.
is. Rosie's in the chat. He said he shouted you out here twice. I got to find the first one. KPG in the flesh, and he said KPG loves being on the mic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But did you like that comment, Rosie, about like bringing in Reeves and taking out Grieg?
So for people wondering, too, I see people asking, where's Rosie? Where's Rosie? This is our first in-person show like this, other than the one in Nashville, obviously. So we're working through some kinks, seeing what we can and can't do, if maybe we can get people on the show for the post-game, get callers in. Like, we would love to have that here, especially having Rosie, but... Yeah, where's your mic?
YYZ.
Vic said, if you want to be on the show, come to Greta Bar. That's what you got to do. You got to come to Greta Bar. Get in here. You can come on the show just like KPG here tonight.
And bring your
hopefully,
crispy.
And if you
ninja.
bring your crispy.
Bring your crispy ninja crisper.
And hopefully, if we get on a long enough run, we'll get Rosie out here in person as well. KPG, a couple things. I'm just going to rapid fire read these off because they're not really that serious. But if you've got thoughts, go for it. Then I'll get your crispy hot take because I'm going to steal Vic's. And then we'll get you out of here. Mitch Marner's vulva says, so moist after this big Game 1 win. Well, okay. Mitch Marner's vulva also says, someone drug test Zack after that rant. KPG said, now we go. I read that one. Mitch Marner, active here tonight. Mitch Marner's vulva is buzzing. Why is podcast happening off the Grand Banks? And then Alex A says, let's go, boys. Huge win. I'm fired up. Come on. I'm fired up here as well. KPG, last thing before I let you go and I let you get out of this booth. Last thing for you. Oh, also, by the way, Lisa is in here and said KPG is amazing. You are awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
right on, ladies. Lisa, Tammy, you're the spirit of this show, for sure. Come to Nashville next year.
KPG, last thing for you before you leave. Do you have a hot take? Even if it's not a hot take, do you have anything to say to Leafs Nation, Leafs fans, people out there who watched this game tonight and are maybe nervous about the next game and how things go going forward, whatever it may be? Do you have anything, any final words before you leave us here tonight?
A couple of things. One is, you know what? I've said it's different every single friggin' year. Okay, I've said it. Sometimes I said it in August, sometimes November, December, January, February. This time, I told myself I wasn't going to say that, but I did say it. It was last week after we saw the Buffalo game, and I just saw like everybody turning it up a notch, even Lawton.
Yeah.
Even Riley, like everybody's turning it up a notch, and the defensive responsibility is so amazing. And we got the sickest goaltender in the NHL, 950 in the past 10 games. incredible. We've never experienced that before. So, look, I'm a little bit more mature than you and you and you and most of the people, except for a few people in the chat. I got to say, everybody knows it, but this type of thing is very rare in these parts. The mecca of hockey, Toronto, the greatest team in hockey, Toronto Maple Leafs, we don't get that many runs. No. We've never won more than 2 rounds. So I want everybody out there, everybody, to be surfing this run as hard as you can. What do you got to do? Wear a Leaf jersey. Decorate the house. We've decorated the house. Get drunk. Come down to Greta. Whatever. Throw a Leafs party at your house. Whatever it takes, just ride this wave, okay?
KPG.
You know what I'm saying, buddy?
Yes.
I love you guys, man. Woo!
There you go.
Yeah, go Leafs, go, baby!
There you go. Thank you, KPG. Appreciate it. Yo, wait. One last thing. I hope you know what I'm going to ask you to say here. This is a big one here tonight. It's something that I've been saying over and over. You said it here already, but I'm going to get you to do it one more time. How do you feel about the Ottawa Senators?
Ottawa Senators can suck my sack. I'm getting cute to say something else, but all I could think of is they could suck my sack, okay? And I didn't even have any drinks tonight either. You could TikTok that one, buddy. Brady Tkachuk looks like an albino crash test dummy. And he looks dumber, too.
Fuck the Seds.
All right, fuck the Seds.
KPG, thank you. That's not what I thought was going to happen. Thank you, KPG. And he's gone. All right, we got a couple things to do here before we wrap up.
Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go!
All right. Couple more things to do before we wrap up. Let's go to some of the super chats that have come in. One more here. This super chat comes in from Joe Hill. Was nervous all day. They played their game and made them pay. Hell yeah, game 2. Let's go. Joe, I agree. That was a key component to this game tonight was playing your game. Play your game. Don't let the Sens dictate how you're going to respond and the intensity that you're going to have. Like, don't let them come into this game and say, okay, we're going to run you through the glass. How are you going to bounce back? Don't let that happen. Take the game to them. Control the game. Control the pace. Play like you want to play, how you want to play. That was in your control. That was something you could do, and they did that here tonight. They just played the Toronto Maple Leafs style of hockey. So that was one real positive here tonight as well. We got a couple more things to do here on the show before we can wrap up. Obviously here, I do want to remind people, look, KPG just showed it up on the screen there. I'm wearing it. Vic's wearing it right now. Our boy Pat was wearing it. Nick was wearing it when he jumped in. It is playoff time, everybody. We're not here for a round. We are here for a run. Now we go. The Leafs Nation exclusive playoff gear is live and built for full send fandom. Sport white and blue threads like never before. Check out nationgear.ca to gear up for the playoffs. You're going to want to be down here with us at Greta Bar YYZ as we continue on our coverage. Just a quick note as well. I mean, we talked about Greta, how we're here doing these shows, and you guys should be down here joining us for these as well. But Vic and I are going to be here games 1 through 4. Every home game we do, we're going to be here. We'll figure out how things go after that. It'll be done. This series will be done after 4 anyways, Leafs in 4. But games 1 and 2, so today we did the pregame show. We're doing the postgame show here as well. Game 3 and 4 will be Justin After Dark. Game 5, I think probably pregame and postgame. I don't know. And then we don't need to worry past that anyways. So everything will be down here at Greta Bar as we go on past the first round into the second, the third, the Stanley Cup Finals. It'll all be here at Greta Bar, so make sure to get down here. Join us here at Greta Bar YYZ. Let's get to the next guest if he's ready to go. Get the ninja off the screen. Get the ninja off the screen. Let's get our guy here, producer Vic, to jump in. He still hasn't stopped laughing. Vic, how's it going?
How's it going, Zack? I don't know how to follow that, man. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. KPG is an absolute legend.
I didn't expect that.
My God.
I thought he knew what I was going to ask.
I was telling him what to say. I was telling him what to say, and he went completely off the board. But, man, what a guy.
That.
What a legend.
All right, what stood out to you here tonight in this win?
Okay, I want to start with the pregame show.
Okay.
All right, I just want to get a shot at my buddy the pigeon, all right? Francis, I'm looking in the camera, Francis. Where are you, Francis? Where are you, buddy? You pigeon, you were talking shit. Oh, the sense. I only watched your show. You know what he said? He said
what?
He only watches the show to see Zack cry.
Where is he now? I don't see you, Francis.
I don't see you, Francis.
I haven't seen you in the chat, Francis.
Pigeon, get out of here, you pigeon. Oh, man. All right, that's number one. I had to get that off my chest.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Number two, I love the Passion Boys. I call them the Passion Bros.
Yeah.
Lorenz and Lawton, they set the tone.
Yeah.
Set the tone. Those two guys came in, and it's like you and I, they put the two of us on the fourth line.
Yeah.
And
with some more skill and speed.
Yeah. No. I just mean in terms of like, buddy, like the boys are Leafs. Those guys are Leafs. They came here.
Yeah.
They were like Lorenz at the start of the year, and Lawton when he came in, he's just like, I was dying to put this jersey on.
Yeah.
And they showed it, and they set the tone, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, they set him up, and bang, 1-0 Leafs, and that set the tone for the entire night. So love the Passion Bros.
Yeah, that was one of the things right away, too. And in that first period, one of the things we kept seeing out of them, like Vangeli Rocks, who was here, who by the way, I found out I say his name wrong every time.
It's Vangeli?
I kept saying Vangeli.
Yeah, I thought it was Vangeli.
And he's like, no, it's not. Vangeli Rocks.
Vangeli
or Vangeli Rocks. That's it. Vangeli Rocks. They came out here to watch, and he said, like we were talking about it after the first and the second periods there was, you watch the way Berube was deploying them. You're not losing minutes from other guys where you're like, remember when Babcock was like playing Patrick Marleau and you're down by 1 goal and you're going, what the fuck are we doing? Like, get these guys on the ice. It wasn't like that where you're screaming, where is Matthews, Marner, Nylander? Like, everyone was spotted pretty correctly, but you kept seeing, oh, wow, Lawton line had a really good shift. Well, who comes back out not long later? The Lawton line. And then they have another good shift. And then the first and the second lines build off of it. And they keep going through. Like, they were just getting those minutes. They deserved them. They earned them. They kept rotating through them like that. Like, it was a great job by Berube to feed off of those guys. But it was a great job of those guys to involve themselves in the game.
Yeah, and they made themselves, like, how many times did you hear we paid a first-round pick for a fourth-line center?
Oh, yeah.
How many times did you hear that?
Times.
Well, those guys, the way they played tonight, Lawton, that was our third line.
Yeah.
That was line 3.
Yeah.
Pontus, Robertson.
Which is what you wanted, right?
That's right. That's it. That's what we wanted. We wanted the center depth. We wanted Matthews,
Yep.
Tavares, Lawton, 1, 2, 3. And Lawton showed that he's a true blue 3C.
Yeah.
And if the boys play like that and they can set the tone like that, those guys have lived it. We've watched it. So they grew up in the same generation I did.
Yeah.
Like, they love that fire. What did Lawton say? Like, I watched that. That was the best type of hockey.
Yeah, that was
That's
like my brand of hockey, my style of
and
hockey.
he proved it tonight.
Yeah.
We out-toughed the Senators. I heard, I think it was Mike Rupp. Sorry, I don't want to, like, chew the guy out because I love Rupper. He was a guest on Leafs Morning Take. But he said something like, what is the answer for Brady Tkachuk?
Yeah.
Well, how about 12 fucking forwards
Yeah.
and 6 fucking D in his face all goddamn night? How about that? There's your answer. There's not one guy. They did it by committee, and they shut him out tonight.
Look, it's one game. We'll see what happens going forward.
Absolutely.
But that's one thing I thought was really good tonight. Like, Brady Tkachuk was a non-factor, effectively, in my opinion. There was a couple of times they did the camera cut to him, and he's got the puzzled face, and that might just be how he normally is. But, they did those. They jumped it. They camera cut, and it's like, he hasn't done anything. Like this guy has not shown me here tonight. The Brady Tkachuk we've all got to be afraid of. That Mike Rupp came on the Morning Take show and was like, what is the answer for him? They've got a Brady Tkachuk. What do you have? Like, I saw a lot of that. Oh, Brady Tkachuk, playoff Tkachuk. And now we saw him in Four Nations. Yeah. We know it's a dangerous player. You didn't let that happen. You neutralized it here tonight effectively. He wasn't able to do that offensively on the forecheck down below the goal line. He wasn't allowed to implement his game because you were quick with things behind your own net. You didn't really allow them to establish any type of forecheck or cycle game. And then anytime, this is one of the most important things I thought. It's been a theme of the conversation here tonight, whether it was Nick or KPG who sat down. Anytime these guys tried to engage in that, the Leafs would just look at them and be like, okay, yeah. And not being afraid of it, but looking them eye to eye and just saying, yeah, okay, good luck.
Look, Brady Tkachuk terrified me as a Team Canada fan watching the Four Nations.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified me. But in the same sense, he was playing with Jack Eichel and Matthew Tkachuk. Yeah. So he's got those guys backing him up. So that makes his game even that he's going to take it to an extra level because he's got his brother backing him up. Those guys are unicorns. Those guys are two guys that I'd absolutely love to wear the blue and white one
100%.
Day. That's the kind of hockey we love.
100%.
But as an Ottawa Senator, when Tim Stutzle's your backup, maybe you're going to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that same kind of backup that Jack Eichel and your brother Matthew Tkachuk are going to give you.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. It's not. He's not going to be the same level of effective. He just can't be because Tim Stutzle is not Matthew fucking Tkachuk.
Yeah.
And the next thing I wanted to touch on is I saw a lot of Leaf fans like, hey, in our chat actually, hey, it's one game. Everybody pump the brakes. It's one game. It's one game. It's one game.
100%.
I want the Leafs team to have that mentality. But as a Leaf fan, fuck that. Fuck that. Enjoy this shit, man. We don't get these runs. Like, this team feels different. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. I don't want to hear this bullshit. Oh, it's one game. Oh, pump the brakes. No, I'm fucking pumped, man. I'm excited.
You should be.
We kicked the crap out of them for 60 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing, too, is, like, that's not a fluke win.
No.
Like, that wasn't a fluke 6-2 where, oh, man, you just got by and Stoley had to be unreal and Allmark was terrible and you got away with this one. You shouldn't be that excited. Like, no, that was playing really good hockey. From opening puck drop to the final buzzer, you were ready to go. You had answers for everything that happened. You were good on your special teams, whether it was Sen's power plays or your power plays. You were ready to go. Your goaltending, your defense didn't allow too much. Your systems didn't allow too much. Like, that was a good win. And then let's get to this here.
Yeah, I hope you're going to say what I think you're going to say.
Mitch Marner.
I wanted you to go there because I've been standing there and I don't think I heard his name.
No, and it's not because I'm trying to bury it or trying to avoid it or anything. There's been a lot of other stories, especially the way the team played, which maybe, I mean, he should be a team guy and happy about it, but it maybe, unfortunate for Mitch to not get the praise he deserves here tonight, but I thought he was really good. And one of the things that you were saying to me during the game, which I thought was right here tonight, especially in this game, and he showed that a lot, was using skill to get out of situations or make things happen that doesn't have to be some toe drag and going through a guy's legs and, trying to make a spinorama move and like all these fancy plays, but like times in the past where he's tried to do some weak move or weak play that has gotten turnover because it doesn't happen in the playoffs. You're not allowed to do that shit in the playoffs. He didn't let it happen here tonight. You've got your skill set that most players in the NHL don't have. He used it to his advantage here tonight to get him out of situations, get the Leafs out of situations, and not fuck them over, which has happened previously.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the times where you're getting hemmed in your own zone and they play a puck around and your D-man's on his backhand. He's got a forechecker coming and they have to flip a backhand up the wall and it's rimming around. And Mitchie's the first one there and he grabs the puck. He's got the forechecker coming, pumps the brakes, little toey, and then flip.
Yep, and it's out.
And it's out. Avoids the forecheck and it's out. And that's all we needed. Had the lead the whole game and you just played safe hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I want to keep talking about Mitch. I just got to address these before they leave.
Absolutely.
2 comments came in. So this guy, L Easy, just gives me the most shit ever
Okay.
at all times for
Okay.
anything I say about this team.
All right.
He goes, I disagree. I was at the game, and the difference was primarily Stolars in the power play. L Easy, fucking
Yo.
enjoy the win for once. Fuck.
That's an L. Like, he has L in his name. Like, take your L and just get the fuck out of here, L Easy.
The other one is Aiden Simpson, who's been watching my show for a long time, since before I joined the Leafs Nation. Zack, great game by the Leafs tonight. I was at the Blue Jays game, and they had a very bad game this afternoon.
I didn't honestly
Okay.
didn't even know they played.
No clue.
I didn't even know they played.
That's what I saw Johnny Junta from Gate 14,
Yeah.
and he tweeted, he was like, I think I speak for all of Toronto when I say I would give up a Leafs game 1 win, like I would allow the Leafs to lose against the Sens in game 1 for a series win against the Mariners. I was like,
What?
bro, I would give up the Jays franchise
Yeah.
to get a fucking series win
Fold,
against
yeah,
the Sens.
fold the franchise and Leafs go to the second
I
round.
would move the Blue Jays to the Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
I would give them that. I would
It-
give the Senators the Blue Jays.
and I wouldn't think twice.
No.
Like, in a
I wouldn't even
heartbeat.
bat an eye.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, back to Mitch though. The other thing that we didn't talk about there, the goal.
Yep.
It's not just the goal. It is the great play by Matthews to get that pass to him, spreading like that's a Mitch pass.
Who hates Austin Matthews' left hand more than Linus Ullmark? Game 2 last year, Domi flip, Matthews left hand,
Oh, yeah,
drop,
that's right.
bang, bang,
I forgot about
top
that.
cheese.
Yeah,
3-2, Leafs win game 2.
Yeah.
Who hates that left hand more than Linus Ullmark?
I know. Seriously.
Great
And-
pass too. Fuck.
Great pass, and then Marner receives that thing. He goes in alone, and no doubter buries that one in the first period, 2-0 game. And it's like we got through that end of the season where the 100-point chase.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we dealt with that. Remember that game against the Rangers where he was firing at the empty
Yeah.
nets? They couldn't get it. Oh, do you sit him? Do you not sit him? They gave him the game to take a rest, and then he couldn't get it. And, like, all this shit that we have dealt with, and this baggage that we've gone into the playoffs at, the Matthews chase, the Willie stalemate at the end of the year where he couldn't score goals.
Yeah,
you
10
went in
games.
with it all off your shoulders, and you go into this one tonight. The only guy who doesn't score is Matthews, and he was still unreal, I thought. He gets that assist. I thought he was all over it. JT scores, Nylander scores, but it's Marner in the first period. And I don't know if you got the same feeling, Vic. I did when he scored in that first. It felt like that let some pressure off of everybody's backs. The fan base, the people watching here at Greta, Mitch himself. Like, it was just one of those moments where it was like, oof,
Yep.
it's out of the way. It happened. It was a big goal. If he misses that on the breakaway, maybe it's tense in the arena. Maybe he gets tense. His line mates get tense. That thing goes in, you're good.
That's it. And honestly, I've been saying it since Four Nations. I actually truly believe that did something for the guy. Like, getting to feel what it's like to win
Yeah.
had to do something to that guy.
Yeah.
Because he scored so many big goals down the stretch. Overtime winners. He was always there. And everyone always says, I've seen it a bunch, like, oh, it's a 3-on-3. It's a 3-on-3. He scored the OT winner. That's just a skills competition. No wonder Mitch showed up, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
I'm
But-
guilty of that.
But again, Zach, it's like, again, clutch situation, you make a play.
Yep.
And then the next clutch situation, you're more comfortable making a play.
Yep.
Like the first time I jumped on the air with you, I was shitting bricks. Now,
You're good.
I shit like pebbles.
You might want to get that checked out. I think you need to drink water.
But you know what I mean? You get more comfortable every time you do it. Every single time you
Yeah.
do it, you get more and more comfortable. And he looks like he's finally getting comfortable in those tough situations. And another thing is, like, it's right from the start of tonight, right from the beginning, we talked about them. Line 4 set the tone. And once you got that pressure taken off of you, the building is buzzing. There's no nervous energy.
Yeah.
And it lets those guys be the guys, which we never, ever, ever saw in the last literally 9 years.
Yeah.
Like, when were you getting the goal from not those guys to take a little bit of pressure off?
I
When?
know.
Can you think of a moment where somebody else scored that first goal and helped them out? because I can't.
I know it's not been the case, and it's contribution from OEL to open the scoring here tonight. Marner follows it up. Nyes with the power play goal. Who this guy was a menace tonight without actually being a menace. I don't even think we saw full force Matthew Nyes.
Yeah, and he blocked that shot. And you and
The
I
hand,
looked at each
I'm like,
other.
oh, shit.
We're like, please tell me that missed the hand. Please tell me that missed the hand. Replay shows it hits the hand. 17 fucking seconds later, he's battling. He's on the power play, battles in front of the net, and buries.
Yeah.
2-year-old kid. Look, we've joked about giving Marner the bag. Give that kid the fucking bag. Give him the bag.
I'm reading chat here. Xlo says we need Vic on more. I agree. We do need you on more. Joe Hill.
The scenes guy.
Joe Hill with the super chat. Great tweet about the Sens. Is the team who led the NHL in penalties drawn really calling another team divers and blaming the refs for losing?
My God. All right. Can we get to those penalty calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If you cross-check a guy in the fucking head
Yeah.
and you get 2 minutes,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Ridley Gregg of all people.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Then Gaudette gives Matthews the shot in the lower back. Do you think Matthews went down a little easy? Or do you think
So at first in real time I did, but when they show it back again,
it's just
look.
you're not expecting to get hit there. You got to realize that as well.
Yes, exactly. And part of it when I watch it back after, and maybe I'm just have some Leafs sympathy or bias to it or whatever, but Matthews goes to pick the puck up. He's got his back to him in the first place. He goes to make a move up the ice, and his back is still to him. So he never turns his back to him at any point. His back is always to him. He fakes a move up the ice one way and goes to turn back the other way to kind of shimmy shake him. When you do that, your balance is just automatically going to be a little bit off. So maybe he went down a little bit easier, but I don't think there was a dive. I don't think you're that close to the boards. Let me tell you this. It's not like I played the highest level in the world, but I played long enough. I still playing men's league and stuff. You're that close to the boards, you get bumped. You're not fucking intentionally going to the boards, I'll tell you that. No. That's a scary spot to be in, to go into the boards. I think that's bullshit by sad Senators fans who they saw the game not going their way, and they fucking haven't been in the playoffs in 8 years. And the last time they were there, they were still wearing diapers themselves because there's about 35 of them, so their parents aren't watching anymore. This is the first time they've experienced this, so they don't know what to do. So they're online crying their brains out about what the hell is going on the ice. At the end of the day, you got to fucking sack up because yeah, you can play tough all you want. Nobody's got any problem with that. Watch the Lightning and the Panthers. And you know what? You want to fucking run your mouths and complain online like that? Go ahead. Watch what the Leafs dealt with against Boston and Tampa and Florida. And reality is, I rarely saw Leafs fans online being like, you lost this game because of the refs. There were times where you got fucked a little bit or some shit. The only one that I'll ever actually lose my mind about is the Justin Hall interference on the JT goal.
God.
That one still to this day drives me nuts. Yeah. But outside of that, honestly, it's there's complaining, but to see the full-fledged attack on the referees after this game, it's grow up. Grow the fuck up. You've got guys on your team throwing cross-checks to heads, cross-checking guys 5 feet away from the boards, hitting guys, from behind into the board. You can't do that. You can't do that. So you know what? Figure it out. And get your team to play better. Maybe that's the way you got to deal with this thing. You got fucked because you gave up 3 power play goals, and your goaltender couldn't find his glove hand tonight. Not because of the refs.
Yeah, and you know what? It kind of reminds me of when Nas, when the first Boston Bruins series, and maybe even the second, where the Bruins are towing the line because they've been there before, and the Leafs just don't know where the line is because they've never played playoff hockey.
And they're going right over and then back and then over and then back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we saw it even with Kyle Clifford, who was a veteran at the time. Starts that series, I think, was it Tampa where he threw a hit from behind? I don't remember what series
maybe.
That was. 5 in
what
the game out. I don't remember which series that was. But it's guys that don't know where the line is. And the Leafs, for the first time, seemed like Because they keep running into the Floridas. They keep running into the Tampas. They keep running into the Bostons.
Yeah.
Teams that have this playoff pedigree. And now you're the veteran team.
Yeah.
Now you dictate the pace. Now you decide where the line is. And Ottawa crossed that line several times tonight, and they just couldn't get there.
My image finally. I tried to get
Oh, amazing.
Oh no! I tried to get an image. I tried to chat GPT an image prior to the show,
Finally loaded?
and it finally loaded, and it's
All
unreal.
right, you got to tweet that out because you're showing me. But I can't see it.
I'll tweet it out. But I was trying to find what year did Clifford get suspended, but we'll figure that one out.
Yeah. Maybe someone in the chat will know. We got some
Yeah.
beautiful Leaf fans.
Joe
in the
Hill says
chat.
Clifford was in 23, I think.
23. Was he on the team in 23?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyways, 2022. Suspended in 2022.
2022.
Yeah. All right. Couple more things from you before I let you go, because then we'll wrap up the show and get to my final
Okay,
segments.
I don't even know if I'm playing your graphics correctly.
I have
don't
no
know.
idea either.
We should probably talk before the show next time.
Maybe.
And we can figure out the graphics. Because when I play the super chat animation, I can't hear if there's any music going.
Yeah.
So I'm just like playing it and then
I'm pretty
stopping
sure the
it.
monitor's off for it, so I don't think you're hearing the audio.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know if it's
It might be
playing.
there or not.
I have
don't
no
know.
clue.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
All right. Oh, we got a huge super chat here.
Is it Dan Freeman?
It's Dan.
Of course it's Dan.
$50.
Dan, I just want to tell you, look in the camera. Dan, we love you at the Leafs Nation. I just want you to know that.
Yes, we do. I appreciate it, Dan. Dan told us before why he's donating. It's a personal thing for him. He's got a connection to Sick Kids, and again, proceeds from the super chat do go to Sick Kids charity. Dan says, and I got more super chats I'll get to before we close the show, but Dan says, I got here at the wrong time. Zack and producer Vic spitting in each other's faces. Just neck already. Anyways, for the kids, and I'm out. This is whack. I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't know where Dan lives, but Dan, you need to get your ass to Greta.
Yeah,
Bar.
you got to come to Greta for Tuesday. Maybe we'll do it like a different setup next time. I don't know. This is like
Yeah,
like
we
this
might
place is
flip the camera
yeah. We might go
so
the
it
other way.
faces Greta Bar?
Yeah,
Because I swear we're here.
I think that yeah we are. I think that like honestly, if that's in the background next time, I don't think that's a big deal.
I don't think so.
All right, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll have a nicer backdrop for us next time. I mean, look, this place is unreal. This is one of the funniest parts of this whole place to me, too, though. I've been here a lot of times. The people in the chat know that. You guys know that. This place is so nice and, like, modern, and then we've got these, like, purple velvet booth that we're in.
It looks like
Every
curtains,
time I look
but-
at the thing, I'm like, dude, like... All right, anyways, before you go, give everyone a chance. Anybody who comes on. I don't know if Nick wanted to do it. I think this guy's careful. He
I have
doesn't
one more
want to get
serious
clipped.
thing.
Okay, go.
Don't wrap up here.
Okay, go.
I have one more serious
Go.
thing. How much in one fucking game did you notice having Brandon Carlo in there versus having Timothy Liljegren in there?
Oh, for good reasons.
Oh
Like,
my God. That guy is a fucking monster.
yeah. The one that like you were pointing out when it was happening was the box outs.
Yeah.
That's the one above anything else. And he does a lot of other really good things and things that stand out and help you win in games like this and help kind of, push you over the top. But that's the one thing that I kept looking at tonight was penalty kill, boxing out. All of a sudden Ottawa starts swarming, and like years past, the puck goes back to the point. You're like, fuck,
Yeah.
this thing might have eyes. You're gonna get screens here. It's gonna hit somebody. You look at Carlo, and he's just got some guy 5 feet outside the blue
Yeah.
paint, and he's just pushing the guy.
And the best is the guy he's got is trying so hard, and he's just like, nah.
He's just standing
Like,
there
nah,
like this,
nah.
holding the guy outside.
Yep.
He's a beast, and it's the box outs, it's the puck going back in down below the goal line, and the retrievals. There's a couple, like that one goal that was scored, the Drake Batherson goal, the first goal.
Yep.
He probably could have played that one better, but you know what? That's one mistake of all the minutes that he's played and all the opportunities that he's had. And you know what? I'm sure he knows that one. I'm sure he would like that one back, but he just goes back there. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected. He doesn't let this shit get to him. And it's pretty important when you play with Morgan Riley, who could throw you the occasional pizza.
Yeah, my God, he
threw some
Threw
pizzas.
some pizzas.
Delivery,
It was
the
giveaway
Riley
night,
big
fuck.
giveaway.
Giveaway night tonight. But I noticed it so much. Like, again, you, Nick, over-exaggerated my Stolar's commentary, which I appreciate. I'm not there to defend myself, which I get.
No, go on, you can.
I didn't love the first one. I didn't love the second one. There was a few bad rebounds. But they didn't have very many second chance opportunities. It was one
No.
and done
Yeah.
because of those box outs. And it's not just Brandon Carlo, but I noticed him a lot today because of who we've seen in the past be in that situation. Tanev, McCabe, 0 second chances against.
Yeah.
Benny was amazing.
He's
Threw
really
the
good.
body a lot. He destroyed
Cousins.
Nick, or what's
Dylan
his name?
Cousins.
Dylan Cousins, not Nick
Yeah,
Cousins.
yeah,
He'll destroy Nick Cousins next
Yeah,
game
yeah.
probably. They'll bring that rat and think it'll make a difference, but that guy's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved 60-minute effort. Beautiful. Get Stoli in there for game 2. I think he could be better, and I think he thinks he could be better. So,
Agreed.
let me see it.
Who do you think led the game tonight? I don't want to do this, but who do you think led the game tonight in giveaways?
Oh, Pizza Boy? No, it wasn't Pizza Boy. Was it Brandon Carlo? Okay. Who was it? Mitch? Oh, no.
There's 3 guys with 3 giveaways.
I take it back.
It was Morgan Riley with 3, Sanderson with 3, and Artem Zub with 3.
Okay, and how many did Mitch have?
4.
Oh,
yeah.
Mitch, you had 4. Okay.
And realistically, I'm certain that a couple of those
Well,
are probably the
look,
flip outs that were considered
Also,
giveaways.
like, of those guys, I guarantee you Mitch touched the puck maybe 10 times more than each one of those guys. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have the
yeah.
puck a lot
Yeah.
more, you're probably going to give it away a little bit more. And
Yeah.
sometimes the scorers fuck around with that shit, too. So,
Yeah. All right, Vic.
all right.
Last thing before you leave.
All right.
You got a hot take? Any opinions towards the Sens?
Hot take.
Anything you got?
I don't think anything I could say after a 6-2 ass kicking would be a hot take. Like, if I
No.
said the Leafs are going to sweep, is that a hot take?
I think a lot of people think the gentlemen, so maybe.
I mean, I don't think that's that hot. I think this might be the best, most complete playoff game I've seen this team play in fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
Is that a hot take?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like,
give me something that you didn't like. Like, where do you? Okay, so this is the thing.
the start of the third period,
Yeah.
and it's being really critical.
Yeah, but then the response.
Yeah.
You get one right fucking back.
Yeah.
You get one, what, 40
But that's it. I'm gonna say, like, if you've got anything, I've got around the Pizza Boy.
The Pizza Boy scored.
Yeah.
And now hopefully that'll help his confidence.
Yep.
And you get another guy fucking going.
Yep.
Like, I liked everything top to bottom. They moved Domi off the second line. Maybe that was a bit of a
They
don't know,
moved him back though.
the experiment. I don't know if that he was flipping Domi back and forth. It could have been D-zone draws like you want. Domi in
Yeah,
there
different
instead of
coverage or
Pontus
whatever. I don't
different
know.
Coverage. I
Yeah.
don't know. I liked everything tonight.
Yeah.
Do the same thing, and that's another thing we've talked about that a lot. Is the consistency game to
Show
game.
up again.
Show up again, and with Berube back there, the calmness, everything that guy stands for, just stands there cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
I'd love it. Yeah, I'd love that. I would love it if we could see the pregame speech, like what he said in that room.
Oh yeah, like that video that came out from when he was in St.
Yeah,
Louis
this
and the
game
cup
7,
on him.
yeah, we're a fucking good team. Let's go fucking win the cup.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, sick. All right, Vic. Thank you. You
I
and I
don't-
will do
yeah.
a team
I
effort.
hope the graphics work,
We'll
guys.
see.
If they don't work,
We'll figure it out.
blame Zack.
Yeah, it's fine.
Love
I
you
did.
guys.
I
Go
did-
Leafs, go. Fuck the Sens and fuck that pigeon.
All right, let's get out of here on this. We'll wrap up with a couple of things. I want to get to all these super chats that we have. Make sure I answer all the questions, comments, concerns, anything like that that's come through in the chat here throughout the course of the show tonight. So I want to get to all of that, and I want to get to my final couple of segments and wrap this thing up. Let's start with some of these super chats. Vic, I don't know. I don't know if you want to just put the slate up or what you want to do.
It's on.
Okay, it's on.
I don't know if the volume's on.
Okay, anyways. Super chats that I missed throughout the show here. Let's go back to the top there. Big Willie, great game. Go Leafs go. What up? Vic and Zack and chat. Big Willie, thank you for the super chat there. Appreciate it. As you can tell, I'm sure here tonight we are pumped up. Also, just a quick note. I see 133 likes on the postgame show. I'll just be honest. I fucked up. I was in like a panic here, packing everything up, getting out of my apartment tonight, making sure Vic and I had everything for the show, and the one thing I didn't have was the smelling salts. So no smelling salts for us here, but we'll get those ready for Tuesday, and I'll make up for all of this. So Vic, if you want to help me keep track, if we hit 150, I'll do 3 on the pregame on Tuesday. 3 on the pregame. But for every 50 that we get before the end of the show, I'll do those for the pregame on Tuesday. So right now we're at 2, 50, 100. If we get to 150, I'll do those pregame. And I'll have the salts with me for Tuesday's show. Other super chats we've got here. Joe Hill. Hot take. Brady Tkachuk is the most glazed 55... Brady Tkachuk is the most glazed 55-point player in the NHL. Good player, but not the difference maker in Four Nations or tonight. Ducks. Joe, the only thing I would disagree with is, like, you saw him. Look, you want me to break this down while I take a fucking flying shot at the Senators here? The thing was, and Vic pointed out, when he did that in the Four Nations, he had other players alongside of him. Matthew Tkachuk and, I don't know, JT Miller and those guys alongside of him to back him up, whether it was the physical presence or if it was just other good players to play alongside. Who's going to do that? Tim Stutzle? Like, that guy, you breathe on him and you'd think there's a sniper in the stands the way his head snaps back and he's falling on the ice. He's not going to engage in that game physically. You saw him with a couple perimeter chances. He looked like Marner and Matthews did in those years where we've complained about them being a perimeter team and not being able to get to the middle. So maybe that's just a way of neutralizing it, is like, you took out his line mates. Maybe you don't have to go toe-to-toe with Brady Tkachuk. You know, like, yeah, obviously you have to neutralize that because he's a problem on his own. He's a guy who can really make a difference. But maybe if you just take away his line mates, then there's not much else for him out there. I do think he's a very, very, very good player. He's a guy I would love to have on the Leafs any day of the week, but maybe that's part of it. Another super chat here. KPG says, Sens can suck my sack. Joe Hill with the super chat. Lawton had a slow start, but I think that's because he's the type of guy that needs to warm up to a new place before he's 100% comfortable, and I think he's hit that place. What a vet move on that first goal. Look, that was a great play, too. We haven't even really discussed that. OEL opens the scoring. Lawton hits the blue line, gains the zone, stops up. Like, he protects that puck, holds up, allows... That's one thing, too, tonight I thought the Leafs did really well with, and especially the bottom six, was... In years past, we get all pissed off because they do the stop-up inside the zone. And then they don't use it effectively. There's no problem with stopping up, especially if you're being forced to the wall and then trying to take advantage of it. But in years past, the Leafs do that. They get stopped up at the wall, and then they just play up high. The one thing that they were doing here was you stop up, and Nick Robertson did it later. He generated an opportunity. It kind of started on that chance that they had, or he used it a little bit on the one that Riley scored. It happens on the OEL goal from Lawton. They get the blue line. You hit the brakes. You stop up. And then what happens is you keep guys going through with pressure. You keep guys going through with speed. You drive it down towards the net so that even if the puck remains high, you back everyone up. You open up space for the guy with the puck back at the blue line. You open up lanes down to the middle. You open up opportunities down towards the net. They did that. That OEL goal comes from that. The Riley goal kind of comes from that. Like, there were a few times they really, really did well with that, and that Lawton play was beautiful. But Scott Lawton, I thought, had a really good game tonight. X, though, super chat. Fuck the Sens. Go Leafs, go. I could not agree more. Joe Hill. I can't believe Willie fought. The buy-in is unreal. Look, that's the one guy we've talked about. Like, fought is a loose term there. I don't necessarily know that Willie, fought. But, you know, he was in the mix. And that's what JT was in the mix. He was in the mix. Matthews is in the mix. One thing I didn't even talk about was our friend Pagnotta tweeted out during the game that Ridley Gregg gets hit kind of into the Leafs bench. Matthews stole his stick, and as Gregg skated away, Matthews snapped his stick on the bench. Like, they've got some playoff piss and vinegar inside them now that I don't think they've had previously. Final super chat here before I get to my segments. Mike Femi. Nicky Bobby was impressive tonight. I really like how well he played. Look, I thought he was good tonight here as well. The one thing that I always want to push back on people on when we talk about this, or when this gets brought up was I like Nicky Bobby. I think that if he plays like this, he deserves a spot in the lineup. My problem with him in the past was that he didn't play like this. He didn't have that back check buy-in or that physicality and finishing checks. Like, how many times was he in hard on the forecheck tonight, finishing a check, finishing an opportunity on a guy and taking away space and making the guy feel it? You know, these smaller guys, they're not gonna kill defensemen back there, but they can make their lives uncomfortable. And I thought that's what he did. I like him if he's doing this. I think he's effective. He does have to kind of still contribute to offense and be involved. But that said, I mean, you play like that, you're going to stay in this lineup. Vic, what else do we got? We got play of the game and grade of the game, so let's do this. Let's go to our play of the game. You see it on there?
Yeah. All right, here it goes.
It's back. Oh, you can hear it now. Okay. You can hear it. That's good. Play of the game. Do you have a mic near you? I should have even thought about this. I kind of want you to give yours as well. So hold on. I'll do mine, and then I'll give it to you. My play of the game is going to be... Fuck. There's a lot tonight. My play of the game is going to be the Marner goal. The pass, 2-0, home building, get people going. You know, the crowd was really into it after that. I thought it was just an energetic crowd, especially when they're chanting at Ullmark. They're making his life uncomfortable. They're chanting Brady sucks. Like, it seemed like a fun barn to be in tonight. OEL, Marner, they're playing to the crowd. That goal, everyone just abusing Linus Ullmark's glove hand. Like, there was a scouting report. Let's put it that way. But I think that's my play of the game. I don't know. Maybe someone else has something different. Vic, what do you got?
I have something. Oh, I got to take this off.
Bad
echo.
Yeah, it's
all
delayed.
Right. Sorry, people, you can't see me, but play of the game is Stolarz stopping Brady Tkachuk on that breakaway 2-1, and then Pinto right after. 100% play of the game. The game is completely different if they tie it up there. That's 2-2, and we're shitting ourselves.
That's a good point. That's a good play of the game there as well. Thank you, Vic. Let's now get to our grade of the game. Usually, I don't have an animation, so don't worry. Usually, I do grade of the game by Greta, but we did Greta already, right? Yeah, throw Greta on the screen. Grade of the game presented by our friends here at Greta. Amazing spot. I mean, this is also like the tallest booth in the world. But anyways, this is an amazing spot. This is an awesome place to be watching the game here tonight. A lot of my friends, Vic's friends, jump by here. Hopefully, we get more people from the chat. As I said, Vangeli, I think that's how he said it. He said how to say it. Vangeli rocks. Joining us here tonight to watch. His wife was out here as well. KPG was out here. So thank you guys. Hopefully, we see everyone out on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. My grade of the game. You guys send yours in the chat. Vic, you shake your head. Tell me if I'm wrong here. People in the chat can say, I think this is an A+. Vic says 100%. I mean, look, I'm like trying to like think about how I would even like combat this myself. You know, the start of the third period, maybe not the way you really want to open things up, especially with the lead there. Like, but you responded, like Vic said. You know, they bring it, they get a goal there, they make it a little bit tighter. And then Morgan Riley is able to score, and all of a sudden it's like, you're good. You're back again. Stolarz, that one goal, yeah, that probably wasn't the greatest goal, but after that, back calm again. Like, I thought this was a good night from this team. I thought that, checked a lot of the boxes here. The only thing that would have been nicer was having Matthews score to get all of them, but it's nice. Your X factor, your power play, your penalty kill, they were all good. Marner scores here tonight and opens this thing up. Like, there's no reason that guy can't lead this series in scoring. You get defensemen chipping in. Your bottom six looked really good. Like, this was a really good night all around. And, you know, for the people who are going to look at box score after and say, well, they got outshot, it's not really that kind of way. I mean, like, I look at the deserve to win a meter here tonight. It doesn't say everything, but it kind of adds to the story and how we're talking about this. 62% in favor of the Maple Leafs. And the one thing I look at as well is the shot chart. Yeah, there's a lot of send shots. There are shots from their own blue lines, basically. There are shots from center ice. There's shots from just outside the hash marks, from top of the circles. Like, they were not getting anything into the middle of the ice here, much into the middle of the ice. They had a couple, but not a lot. And the Leafs, the majority of their chances, that's where they were. Expected goals here tonight, according to Money Puck, 3.9 for the Maple Leafs, 2.97 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's going to do it for me here on the postgame show live from Greta Bar YYZ. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned into the show here tonight, who watched. Thank you to everyone who showed up to Greta Bar YYZ. Thanks to Greta Bar for having us. Another amazing night here at Greta Bar as DJ Vic. That's one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. That's one of the funniest things that I've ever seen was that girl coming up to him and requesting a song, I think. And I tried so hard to power through, because I thought she was going to come up to Vic and just like see him and then be like, oh no, that's not what he's doing, and leave. And she just persisted, and then I just couldn't because Nick was laughing, I was laughing. But anyways, thanks everyone for watching here tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. What was the final count on likes, Vic? I think, 150. 150 likes here tonight on the show. That means we'll do 3 smelling salts on the pregame show on Tuesday. Make sure to tune back in here tomorrow morning, Leaf Station 401 right here on YouTube. Leafs Morning Take. Eddie Belfour joining the boys on the morning show. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. A+. Game 1 of the Toronto Maple Leafs postseason. Fuck the Sens. 6-2 here tonight. Let's keep it rolling on Tuesday. Thank you all for watching. See you guys then.